car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
And I am pleased to announce that we have the owner of Low Overhead Country, better known as Frontier Motors, with us live in our studio. And he, of course, as always, is ready, willing, and more than able to take any phone inquiries from you. You may direct those phone inquiries to us here at News Talk 1370 WCOA because you're listening to Frontier Motors on Talk at 10. 478-3116. You want to get the price of a car or a truck or an SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in, give us a call, 478-3116, and I will connect you with Iven Streckel. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Don, thanks so much for the introduction. And once again, we have a double formatted show. What that means that you are listening to this live on 1370 AM radio, and we are also taping this for our Blab TV satellite customers and cable customers. So if you're watching this on TV, there is a phone number bottom of the screen. This is a call-in show, like Don said, 478-3116. You can reach us, and we can give you some idea of what your car might be worth. I think that's one of the best things that we can help customers with is to make sure that when they are in the market, whether it be a new car or a used car, that we make sure at Frontier Motors that they don't pay too much and that they get a fair shake as far as what their trade-in is worth. Now, I know that you can get online or you can call your banker and they can book out a car. But there's a lot different than what a book says versus what reality is. And I kind of have a tendency to lean towards the reality side of things by giving you appraisal based on experience and based on what's going on in the marketplace in our area, not just by looking at a Kelley Blue Book or an Edmunds. As a matter of fact, we don't even use the Kelley Blue Book or the Edmunds book in the Pensacola area. Well, we use an official NEDA guidebook, which you can't get online, by the way. Kind of interesting because they do have an NEDA version online, but it's not the same. Now, we don't use this book to trick you. The reason we use this book as a car dealership is because our banks, our credit unions, our insurance companies in our area use this book. So we have to make sure that we match so that when we send somebody to the bank to get a loan, that we book it out for the same book value as they do. Now, again, that doesn't mean that's not what the car is worth. That means what the car is booked out at. If you want to know a value of your car, do not call your banker. They are not in the car business. Now, you can call your banker and ask them how much they would borrow on a particular car. And if you're looking at let's say you're looking at a 2013 ES350 Lexus, he might open this up and said, this car is worth $25,000. What if he's wrong? What if that's just the book value? And that's why you take a couple of minutes out of your time and you call or stop at Frontier Motors, and we will tell you what that particular car is selling for in our area. A lot of times we might have that same identical car on the lot. We can use ours as an example. The other book that we use also, and we're not afraid to share it with customers, is an official black book. These are the kind of secret books that the car business has been using since I've been in the business. I got in the car business when I was 15 years old, which was 45 years ago. And I remember the salesmen were not allowed to leave this book on their desk because they were afraid a customer was going to open it and they would see that a vehicle is worth a particular value at the auction. And of course, you know what dealers do? Like any business, they mark their vehicles up. Now, sometimes a dealer can be obnoxious with the amount of markup, and sometimes they're not. And that's where Frontier Motors' claim to fame comes in, but we'll get into that in a minute. The other thing we can help you with, folks, is that if you are in the market for a brand new car, heaven forbid, but if you are, we also have the new car cost guides at Frontier Motors. These are the invoice guides. Now, I do subscribe to Consumers Reports, and Consumers Reports will actually sell you an invoice, but it's about $15 per car. I have the invoices at no charge. We share all this information with you. We're not afraid to tell you that we're going to sell a car and make a profit on it. But I think it's the amount of profit that we use at Frontier Motors that sets us apart from the competition. And one of the things that we did years ago, matter of fact, I got a call from one of the guys at Beck Properties the other day, and they had a dealership available in Car City, wanted to know if I was interested. And I said, it'd be a little hypocritical. Don, you'll get a kick out of this. We've been talking about low overhead and the fact that we bought our property outside of Car City 21 years ago. for $105,000. And 21 years ago, there was a dealership for sale in Car City. It was vacant for years and years. It was a big mausoleum. It was over $1 million. It needed about $500,000 in renovation. Now, remember, this is 21 years ago.
Right.
That would, double that by now, maybe not triple it in today's dollars. And I thought, I'd love to have that place. It's in Car City. It's where all the people go to buy their vehicles because it's convenient. You can just jump from one dealer to the next to the next.
But you didn't want to pay 10 times what the other property was? Is that what you're saying?
I just couldn't stomach it, Don. And it's not just the payment that you might have because we didn't have the cash. Excuse me. We didn't have the cash. We had to finance it. But it's also the overhead that comes with a building like that. When you think about such a mausoleum, as far as what it takes in taxes, for example, what the insurance might be, what the maintenance might be, we decided against it. And it was interesting that Beck called the other day because they have the property available and said, don't you want to move to Car City? And I said, I'd love to. But certainly would go against what my advertising has been for years and years, that we are the home of low overhead country. We don't have a mausoleum. We are actually in the process of expanding right now. But it's a little bit at a time.
Oh, yeah. And it has been over the years, hasn't it?
It has been, Don. And right now we're putting on about 1,000 square foot addition. It's very inexpensive. And the reason we're doing that is to alleviate the congestion that we have in our small building because we have 11 salespeople, 5 managers, 3 office staff, 2 finance managers, and we've grown. And it's always okay for about 5 years.
Right. And that's about when you did the last one.
And now, instead of selling 150 cars a month, we're selling 250 cars a month, which means there's more customers in the place, and it's very, very noisy. But
and those double-decker desks are kind of a problem for your salespeople, huh?
No, Don, we barely are. Again, I am very cheap when it comes to our overhead, but I'm not
frugal. You're frugal.
Word, yeah.
You're thrifty.
I'm not that way when it comes to buying cars, folks. And one of the things that I pride myself in, I had a customer the other day that said that we were selling them an Avalon, and they said that, well, we don't want a rental car. And I said, well, why not? Well, because rental cars are all beat up. I said, that's true. A lot of rental cars are beat up. But I pride myself that when I do buy a rental car, to buy the best of the best. The auction rates cars. Don't ask me why don't they rate them like the real world from 1 to 10. At the auction, they rate them from 1 to 5, 5 being perfect. So I don't even mess with a car unless it's rated a 4 or above, which makes it about as good as you're going to get. A lot of car dealerships on purpose will buy a car with a lower rating because there is almost a $3,000 price difference between an average car and an excellent car. Now, that's a lot of money. What I try to do is buy that excellent car for average car money. Takes me a lot to do that. I'll give you an example. This week alone, I probably bid on 500 cars. Out of 500 cars, I got my sheet here. We buy 3 days a week at the auctions. The rest of it, people bring us cars for 3 days.
Right.
And hold it up for TV viewers. That we bought about 35 cars in 3 days. And to buy these 35 cars down, I had to bid on about 500. That's a lot of work. I started at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd look at the auctions. There's about 25,000 cars a week available to Frontier Motors to choose from. And what I do is I go through every one of those cars at all of our auctions, and I pick out the ones that are rated the best, that have the best color, the best equipment, that have not been in an accident. And then my buyers actually fly or drive to the auction, and they go inside the car and they smell it because you can't smell it through a screen.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say they fly or buy to the auction, by the way, that's the voice of Iven Streckel here on Talk at 10 on News Talk 1370 WCOA. This is the Frontier Motor Show. You are free to give us a call. Would you like to ask a question, get clarification, make a comment? 478-3116, 478-3116. We've got a good 20 minutes left in today's show. Going back to my point, Ivan, when you talk about going to auctions, we got a big Mannheim auction right here in Pensacola. Do you go to that one too?
I really don't. I do have a rep there, Don. Now, the problem that you have with Pensacola is they only run about 500 to 600 cars. Orlando, for example, runs between 4,000 to 6,000 cars. So obviously it makes more sense for me to send somebody to Orlando, and even though that Mannheim is right in my backyard.
Sure.
Now, that doesn't mean they have bad cars. They have a lot of dealerships that might take cars in trade that they just don't sell on their lot. So every once in a while, to answer your question, I'll get a good car right here in Pensacola. Obviously, the advantage down there's no shipping. Now, shipping, though, isn't a big deal. People always say, well, it must cost you a fortune to get a car here from Orlando. It really doesn't. I think the average shipping cost is about $250. Mm-hmm. And most people would pay an extra $250 to get a phenomenal car rather than take an average car right in our area. And as an example, right now, I've got the sheet. These are some of the vehicles that we bought just this week for the lot at auctions. A 2013 Elantra, an 11 Infiniti G37, a 2006 Corvette Coupe, a 15-passenger 2012 van, a handicapped van, an Armada, an Equinox, a Honda Fit, a Dodge Challenger, a Cherokee, a Highlander, an Escalade, an HHR. I'll go on and on and on. These are cars that we bought just this week alone. That's on top of all the trade-ins that we have. I do want to remind everybody this is a call-in show, so if you have a question, I am here to answer your car questions. Don, do we have a call?
We do. This is Gloria.
Hey, Gloria, thanks for calling the Frontier Motor Show. How can we help you?
I would like an idea of what you would get for an RX-7.
Okay.
It's 83, and it has 82656 mileage.
So it's a Mazda RX-7.
That's right.
Yeah.
1983.
And you only got about 80,000 miles. That's an interesting car, Gloria, and that's going to be a real difficult one. And the reason I'm saying that, here we are talking about Emma Collins Show, and I'll give you my opinion. The book values only go down to 1997 is the oldest that it goes. So being that old, you're almost going to be in the antique.
Classic car, antique.
Yeah, antique's not the right one. Classic car mode. And that car might have a value, and I'm not sure because we don't deal in cars. Our claim to fame, Gloria, is dealing in newer cars, and we do take cars like that and trade. But I would suggest that if you get a chance to, is this car that's still in good running shape, Gloria?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you ever were able to stop in at Frontier Motors, let us spend about 10 minutes with the car. And what I'm going to do is I'll have one of my guys take some pictures of the car, get an idea of the condition of it. And I've got some guys in Atlanta that would give me a buy bid on that car. And that doesn't mean you have to take it, but at least you'll know what the real value of that car is. It might be a lot. Go ahead.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
My husband has passed away,
Oh.
and it's just sitting here waiting for me to eliminate that.
Okay. Well, if you get a chance to bring it to us, we'll definitely give you a buy bid on it. And that doesn't mean you have to take the buy bid, but at least you'll know what the value is. And the worst we can do for you is let you know how to get rid of the car. If we're not interested, I can let you know where to go with the car.
All right.
All right.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Gloria.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling the show. Bye-bye. And we did this twice this week, and sometimes it's a sad situation, obviously. We had a lady that gave up her driving rights just the other day. The kids brought the car in and said, here's my mom's car. She actually came to us and said, I don't want to drive anymore. She had turned 90 years old, and they brought us the 2002 Buick LeSabre, and it was in phenomenal condition, as you would think it would be from, when we talk about little old lady cars. Sometimes little old lady cars aren't as good as their reputation is, because sometimes they bang into everything possible, including the garage and the mailbox and everything. But this one wasn't. This lady could drive because this car didn't have a scratch in it. And I would love to buy cars from private individuals. And I always sometimes shake my head when somebody puts a car on Craigslist. I don't know if anybody knows this right now, but sunset is at 6:38 in Pensacola today. And that means by about 7 o'clock, it's pitch dark out there. You put your car in a Craigslist. When are people going to come over? Probably right after supper. Most people, on the average, people work till 5 o'clock. They get home. It's 5:45. They eat supper at 7 o'clock. Now they're going to go look at a car. They come over to your house in the middle of the dark. You don't know who they are, and they're going to want to test drive your car. I don't know if I'm cool with that. Why not let Frontier Motors handle that transaction for you? And what we'll do is we'll tell you what we'll write a check for. Just like Gloria. If she comes to us, she's going to say, hey, I've got this 83 RX-7. I want to know what you'll write a check for. She doesn't really want to know what it's worth. She wants to know what will we pay. The second thing we can do for you, and we've done this 30 times in our inventory right now, is if we can't give you enough money to make you happy, we'll give you more money on a consignment. And we've got about 30 consignments right now out of 400 cars in inventory. And the reason we'll give you a little bit more money because we don't have to tie up our cash. If you've got a $20,000 car, I might give you $21,000 or $21,500 on consignment. The car still might only be worth $22,000 retail. We're going to make less money on it, But a little money is better than no money at all. And we have a lot of times where a customer will take a consignment. Now, on this Buick LeSabre we talked about, I offered the customer $500 more for consignment, but they said no. We just would rather take the check, cancel the insurance, take our tag off the car, and be done with it. Because obviously, if it's consignment, you're not going to get paid until the car is sold, which might be a day and might be 2 months. What's going on in the car industry a little bit, and we talk about this every time I've got to because we sell used cars for a living at Frontier Motors, and Consumers Reports put an article in April's edition of this year. This is the first time I've seen this in writing, and they have a graph in here that says how much will that vehicle lose in 1 year. Very interesting that they actually put in writing. They did thousands of survey, and they found out that last year the average new car selling price was $34,000. That's not the asking price. That's the transaction price. So after rebates and discounts, it was $34,000. If you bought that car last September and you trade it this September, you lose 27% on the average, which is $9,200. That's your first year loss. If you're going to buy a brand new car, why not buy a 1-year-old car and have somebody else take that $9,100 loss and you take advantage of that? That's what we do at Frontier Motors. We buy cars. Last time I counted, which was a couple days ago, we had about 110 cars that had under 19,000 miles. We had 50 cars that had under 9,000 miles. 50 cars. These are used cars at that depreciated rate. Now, I'm not saying that every one of those cars saves you $9,000. Some might only save you $4,000. I've got a Toyota Corolla on the lot with 37 miles. I'm not going to be able to save you $9,000, but I might save you $3,000. It's got 37 miles on it. Hello? Why would you buy a new one? And I'm not talking about the list price of a new one. I'm talking about after rebates, because I take that all in consideration when I buy a car like that. I have to compete with the new car dealers. I don't compete with the other used car. There's 104 used car dealers in Pensacola. I hardly ever compete with them. I compete with the 17 new car dealerships out there. Because our claim to fame at Frontier Motors, our specialization, if I were to call it specialized, is the alternative to new. And people love it. They love being able to come in and look at a car and say, I can't believe this is a used car. Because it's still in factory warranty. It has a clean history report. It's never been painted on. It hasn't been in a wreck. It has factory warranty and it doesn't smell. The books are in the glove box and it's got 2 sets of keys. And it saves you a bunch of money. On top of that, sometimes they can even save you more money because we sell every make and model. So a lot of times I'll pay more for the trade-in than the dealer down the road that might not be interested in your car. If you go to a Lexus dealership, they're not too interested in a pickup truck and a trade-in. There's not too many people going to a Lexus dealership for a used pickup. So what happens? You get a bad appraisal. I'm kind of picking on Lexus because they're not in Pensacola, and hopefully they're not listening to the show. Don, could they be listening all the way in Mobile?
They could. They could be listening in Tokyo, Japan on the internet.
Really? Oh,
Sure,
that's right.
that's
I
right.
forgot. The internet.
Yeah, and can stream anywhere.
That's pretty cool. Well, I do apologize to Lexus if they are listening. I like Lexus products. I love selling used Lexus, even though they're not a service facility here in Pensacola, because they don't break. And you look at Consumers Reports, which I have there in my grubby little hands right here. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here it is. And it says the Lexus is the #1 car to purchase for reliability. Lexus, Toyota. I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but Lexus is the Highline division of Toyota. I quizzed this. I had a lady the other day that didn't know what an Acura was. I said, an Acura is a Highline Honda. Mm-hmm. She didn't know that. I said, do you know what a Genesis is? She says, I think it's a Hyundai. I said, it's not a Hyundai anymore. A Genesis is now Hyundai's Highline division.
Yeah.
So when we talk Genesis, now the weird thing about it, Hyundai Genesis is actually a model of Hyundai, but they use that name for their luxury brand, which they are building dealerships all over the nation called the Genesis. Very interesting. Anyways, I'm getting off track. Let's talk about...
Never. Okay, occasionally.
I think I start one thing down, and all of a sudden I look at my stuff I got here, and I'm thinking, hey, I got to bring this up. And all of a
which
sudden
takes you
I
to
probably
another
don't finish my first thought is already gone because I'm on to to the next article. It says that Consumers Report says the median price paid for a recent model used car was $18,000 on the average when purchased from a used car dealership, but it was $21,000 when you buy it from a new car dealership.
18 versus 21.
Yeah. Now, Don, that's crazy. This is on page 58 in June's edition of Consumers Reports. They're saying that if you buy a used car at a franchise dealership nationwide on the average, it costs $3,000 more than if you found that car from an independent like Frontier Motors, which is us. Nicer car that's 1 year old and still has 2 years of warranty left. And that's another thing that saves you, that extra, not only saves you money, but gets you a much nicer car, maybe more equipment, and maybe a better color. Talk about color. People never mention color, but the books, when you look at books, they never ask you about a color. Color is a big deal in the used car industry. I lose more deals, and I make more deals based on if the customer likes the color or not. And I got a green Corvette on the lot. Don, I got to talk about my green Corvette.
Oh, yeah.
I have had this car. I actually was driving this car. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think it's got 9,000 miles on it. And this Corvette, brand new, is $71,000. It's an LT3 with the Z51 performance package. I bought the car because I love the color. I guess nobody else does, because I've had it for over 90 days, and I've had only one person looking at the car. I've dropped it down to the bargain price of $53,000. Wait a minute. That was $63,000. Let's make that $59,000. It was $63,000 actually. Let's make it $59,000. 71 brand new, 59 with 9,000 miles on it. That's a big depreciation, isn't it? And this is the type of cars that we have. We just sold a Volvo the other day that was $10,000, had 4,000 miles on it. It was $10,000 less than a new one. We had the window sticker, so it wasn't just me guessing. A lot of times I like getting the original window sticker because I can show you what the difference is between a used one. We just sold a Jaguar the other day down off the radio show. Remember I mentioned the Jaguar?
Yes,
I
you
use
did.
the Jaguar all the time. We had a $110,000 Jaguar. Somebody listened to us on the radio, and they came and they wrote us a check for $80,000 for that car.
Mm-hmm.
Don, the car had 4,000 miles on it. 80,000.
And by my rapid mental calculation, that's a $30,000 saving.
$30,000. The car had 4,000 miles on it.
Mm-hmm.
Why would anybody buy new? Now, if I can't talk you out of buying a new one, if you won the lottery and you just got more money than you need, one thing I want to tell you also, if I won the lottery, I'd be buying a new car too. I'd buy whatever I want. I won $400 million.
Well, sure.
I wouldn't worry about that $6,000, $7,000 depreciation.
Or just buy a dealership and you don't have to buy it. Oh, that's right. You already own one.
But if I can't talk you out of buying a new one, the other thing I can help you with is, number one, tell you what to pay for the new car, tell you what the incentives is. Number three, tell you what your car is worth. And a lot of times what happens, people get frustrated with new car dealerships because it gets such low appraisals at times. I'm not talking about every new car dealership. But you never know which one is going to give you the low appraisal and which one is not. And if you get a low appraisal, the only way you're going to know it is by stopping at Frontier Motors first to find out what that appraisal should be. Don't call me on the radio show telling me what you got and ask me if it was a good deal, but it's already a done deal. We had that happen a couple years ago, Don. Somebody called the radio show here. And I said, I just bought this car. Did I get a good deal? I said, why are you calling me now?
Exactly.
The only thing I can do is make you feel bad.
Right.
So, of course, I told him, no, you got a really good deal. Because I didn't want to make him feel bad. It was already too late. There's nothing I could do. And a lot of times what happens is the deal's fair deal. I got an article here that I just read this morning, which is really kind of stupid. I mean, I shouldn't say it's stupid. It makes us look stupid. This is in Dealer, it's a dealer magazine, used car dealer magazine. And it says, almost 90% of American consumers dislike something about the process of purchasing a vehicle at a car dealership. 90% dislike the process. And Don says, I've been talking about this process for years and years and years, that I don't like the process either.
Right.
So we changed it when we opened our car dealership. I used to do the process. Everybody knows what the process is because everybody out there knows they hate car shopping for a car. Why is that? A car is the second largest purchase most people make in their lifetime, and they hate doing it because of what the car dealerships put the people through and the stupid questions they ask, like, What do you want to pay?
What's it going to take to
What's
put you
it
in?
going to take to put you in one right now, this minute?
Yeah.
What if you're just kicking tires? What if you're thinking about buying a car in the next 6 months? What if you're really not sure if that's the car you want? That's why you come to an independent dealership that has all makes and models, that does not ask stupid questions like, what do you want for your car? Don't you think it should be our job to tell you what we'll give you for your car? We're the ones buying it. And don't you think it should be our job as a car dealership to tell you what our car is going to run you? That here's the book price, but here's the actual price. Here's your trade-in value. Here's the taxes, the doc fee, the tag transfer, the title fee. And here, with a big circle or highlighted in yellow, is your bottom line price. And we give you this in writing in case you might want to go shop. Isn't that nice that there's actually a car dealership that says, how do you know if you're getting a good deal unless you go shop? Now, a lot of our customers are repeat buyers, 70% of them are, which means they already trust us. They know I'm going to give them a deal. They know I'm going to make money. I'm not going to put them through the ringer, but I'm going to give them a fair deal. I'm going to do the research before I give you a price so I don't get embarrassed by giving you a high price where you can buy one somewhere else. So I can already do the shopping for you online and share that information with you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go out there to verify the information, but I've got a program called Dealer Socket. It's got a price driver program that tells me every vehicle like that. If you're looking at this 16 Corolla I talked about with 37 miles, it tells me every Corolla available just like that with 150 to 250 miles. So I make sure I price mine accordingly. Now, they might have 30,000 miles. Mine's got 30 miles. Anyways, I got off track again. Don did it to me again. Oh, darn it. Ryan's telling me I got 3 minutes left. So what are we going to talk about in 3 minutes? We're going to talk about Frontier Motors. We're going to talk about the fact that we got a great Facebook page. You can like us on Facebook. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Matter of fact, this show right here will be recorded on YouTube. Just Google Frontier Motors on YouTube, and boom, we pop right up. We probably got about 30 or 40 shows on there. We keep them on there. And then the other thing we can do also is have you go to our website. I had a couple of texts this morning, people looking for particular cars from me. And I said, go to the website. I got that car in stock. We got a great website where you just type in what you're looking for. It pops up. 31 detailed photographs. They all got prices on them. Sometimes there's a little bit of flexibility on the price, and sometimes they're not. So if you're not sure about that, just email us, or best yet, do it the old-fashioned way. Stop in or call. You don't have to text if you don't want to. You don't have to email, but you can. I like talking to people. So if you pop on in, if I'm not available, we've got 5 sales managers there, and we've got 11 salespeople that are willing to help you. And we're not going to ask stupid questions. We're going to tell you exactly what it's going to cost, and we're going to say, if you're not sure, take our price and go shop. If you run into a dealership that won't give you that out-the-door price, get the heck out of there. Frontier Motors, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.